What's up, guys? I'm Frosted the Sandwich. Welcome back to Marvel Rivals. Today we're doing another tier list, except this time we're going to be ranking every single character in the game based on their ultimate ability. That's right, we only care about their ultimate right now. And I think it'll definitely shake up the tier list at least a little bit. But there might be some characters that still stay exactly where they were. I'll let you guess who they might be. Let's get started. Captain America, I honestly think his ultimate is all right. It's not terrible, but it's incredibly hard to remove him when he's doing it. I usually just ignore Captain America when he's ulting. It's basically like, don't focus him, let him get away with what he wants, essentially, and focus somebody else until it's over. I think it's just all right. I don't think there's anything special about it, but I also like there's not a whole lot of weaknesses that I can think about to it. It seems pretty solid. Like, you can still CC him, but it doesn't cancel it. I've slept him as Mantis, but as soon as he wakes up, and he can wake up pretty quickly depending on what happens, he's just right back doing it. Doctor Strange. I think Strange's ultimate is easily A tier. The only reason I wouldn't put it in S tier is because it does have one crucial weakness, and that is it's very telegraphed, and so if you can CC him before it goes off, you can stop his ult. And that's kind of a bummer. I do believe that puts him back to 50 charge, though. If you do that to him, it doesn't take the whole charge. Don't quote me on that. I haven't labbed that. Somebody check that out and let me know in the comments. I could be totally wrong on that, and I apologize. Groot, it's kind of in the same boat, in my opinion. The reason I'm thinking, like, these are like S tier ults, but there's some counterplay to them that makes them just not quite S tier, in my opinion. And for Groot, there's a lot of stuff that can actually block his ultimate, and there is a loud voice line. It's not easy to react to his ultimate, but I've had players do it. I've had Magneto's shield my ultimate before, which has made me a lot more cautious around Magneto players when I throw my ult. You bait out the shield, essentially. If he can bubble it, but it'll go off in front of his bubble, so you could still definitely get value with it against his bubble. Hulk, it's good until he gets stuck in that like swing animation, and then he's just a sitting duck, and everybody can nuke him. I would say he's an incredibly strong character, but his ultimate is not what makes him incredibly strong, in my opinion. It's good, don't get me wrong. I just don't think, like, I wouldn't put it in trash tier. Because I mean, it does essentially give him another life, huge health bar, lots of damage, but then you just end up wailing on one person. If you don't use that slam animation, I think it's fine. I think Magneto's ultimate is S tier. Easy pick. It's one of the few ultimates that can outright kill supports inside of their own ultimate. It blocks damage and healing. Like, it's 3 seconds of denied healing and damage to the enemy team while you're charging it. It's so good. I think it's easily, like, you sometimes just pick Magneto because they have 3 healers on the enemy team, and you want another ultimate that, like, you want a tank ultimate that can nuke a healer on top of something else. Like, I could easily see like Magneto and Iron Man being teamed up just to deal with the 3 healer menace that is the meta right now. Penny Parker. Is anybody shocked that I immediately put her in D? I don't think anybody's shocked. I don't think I've seen her survive a single one. Like, she just dies in it, and I don't think it doesn't kill anything. I don't even know how it works. All I know is she's very loud and very easy to hit while she's doing it. So I just shoot her and she dies. I think it's better now. This used to be D tier. I think Thor's ultimate is honestly maybe C tier. You used to be able to just sleep him in it. I was a big fan of sleeping him on Mantis. As soon as he went up in the air, you can no longer CC him while he's up in the air, which I think is much needed because it's just so slow. It's super easy to still just shoot him while he's doing it, and you might not kill him, but you'll still deal a lot of damage if he tries to do it into the enemy team, and the enemy team just focuses him while he goes up. It does deal a lot of damage when he comes down, though. So, like, I don't think it's trashed here, but it definitely could use some love, in my opinion, even more so than them changing the fact that he can't get CC'd out of it. Venom's is, again, all right. You can you can get kills with it. I've gotten kills with it, especially if you do like his full combo. And it gives you a lot of armor, and I think suits the purpose of what his kit is designed to do very well, is to just keep doing these hit and run engagements and just being an overall nuisance. Um, I don't think there's anything special about the ultimate, but all right. I kind of feel the same about Panther. Like it's good, but it's definitely not in this range. And it's honestly like it's not that big of a deal. I think it's very nice. Like let me know, Panther players, if you're watching this, how big of a deal you think his ultimate is, because like you're already doing a bunch of like dash resets and stuff, and I think it's honestly more like a cherry on top for you guys. Like, oh, I can reset my dashes again. Um, so like it's very nice to have in a fight, but not really like making or breaking his kit in any way. I I think they buffed it. I have no clue. I haven't seen Widow players still. Like there's like one or two people who like one trick Widow at high elo, and they do make her work. I don't want to like discredit those players, but in general, she's just not very good, and I don't see a lot of people succeed on her. All right, Hawkeye. Honestly, like I think his ultimate. I almost never even notice when it happens, to be completely honest. And like I guess it can be broken in some situations, but I don't know. I might piss off a lot of players. Hawkeye himself is very good, but I honestly think his ultimate might be a little lacking. Um, I just like if the Hawkeye's already good, they're popping off, and like his ultimate is just kind of the cherry on top. It isn't really making or breaking any games, in my opinion. Like I don't see a Hawkeye struggle all game, and then he gets like one good ult that wins them the game. Whereas you can have some other characters do that. Hela's actually one of them. Her ultimate is stupid. There's like no counterplay to it other than Punisher ult, which is kind of a fair trade because she can frag him out of his ult. Um, it just depends on how quickly he can. If she gets one shot off, it'll be close. If she gets two shots off, you're just dead as Punisher. Um, so you gotta basically burst her down with your ult. And the problem is like getting into your ultimate. Once you're in your ultimate, it's pretty quick. You can definitely get her out of her ultimate before she gets two shots off on you. But it's just being in your ultimate before she's in hers. Um, Iron Fist. I think his is all right. I again like I've played him a little bit now, and it's fun, but it never really feels like it's super overpowered. Like I still die a lot. I've died plenty of times while using it. Um, but in certain circumstances, it can be very good. Iron, yeah, I can't put him up here because unlike Magneto, I don't. You can't. He just absorbs almost any. I was like, can you CC Magneto? There's no counterplay to Magneto's ultimate. It's so good. It's so good. Iron Man, you could kind of clown on him in his ultimate. So while I think it brings huge value and will nuke those supports or any like a DPS that's ulting too. Like I always focus on the supports, and then I get people saying like, "Yeah, focus. The DPS is so much more value." Like it can be. It depends on the situation. Like I'm not going to say it's not. Um, but yeah, it is a judgment call depending on what's happening in your game. But his ultimate is a very strong removal tool. Its only weakness is the fact that he's a sitting duck while it goes off, and you could just die before it happens, or you could get CC'd out of it. There's a bunch of different stuns that can stop it. Even Hela can stop it with her orb, unfortunately. I almost want to just be an edgelord and put this down. No, it's not a bad ultimate. The problem is you just die a lot when you try it. Like it really is up to the enemy team to punish you while you're doing this. If they don't punish you, you're gonna have a great time and get a bunch of kills. If they do get a couple of headshots on you, you're gonna have a bad time. And it really is just up to whether or not. Like I mean, you can have the best positioning and portals in the world, they still might just land the hit on you as you come out of that portal trying to hit them. Um, yeah, it is what it is. She's not invincible. Moon Knight. Moon Knight, I think it's very good. I in fact, my only issue with putting it S tier is I think if it dealt maybe a little more damage, which I don't think it needs, it would be. But like it's up a lot, which is why I think it deals less damage than it otherwise would have. Because it's a huge AoE. I've seen lots of Moon Knights use it effectively. I think his ultimate is incredibly strong. And definitely at least A tier, in my opinion. I think this is a slept on ultimate as well. It is almost in the same boat as Moon Knight, except it has even more utility in that it stops pesky characters like Psylocke from running out of it, because when the AoE is coming down on them, it basically cripples enemy players. And what that means is they can't use any mobility, no dashes, jumps, anything like that. You can't do it. And so someone like Psylocke is just going to have to stand there and take it. And the inner circle does deal more damage and will absolutely one-shot Psylocke or most of the supports. I think it's a very strong ultimate and somewhat slept on. So I think Psylocke's ultimate is S tier easily. It's one of the best ultimates in the game. You can punish it, like you can punish the other ones, but the problem with that is the window to do this is so small that I almost never see it happen. And when it does happen, it's usually more luck based, or the Psylocke was just telegraphing so hard that like it's honestly the Psylocke's player's fault at that point. Don't telegraph your ultimate so hard that the support's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sleep her. But yeah, it's incredibly strong. She's invincible in it. She farms it very good, and it can absolutely wipe your team if you're not prepared for it. I think this one's C tier. I don't think it's as garbage as these two because you can absolutely get utility if you can get your she needs somebody teamed up with her like Magneto and Scarlet Witch is honestly a really strong combo that I think might be slept on right now. We might start seeing it a little more. If he bubbles her while she's ulting, she just gets it for free. You have to run. You cannot challenge that. Because I don't know if it's the perfect amount of time to protect her from it, but it's definitely enough to like if you see a Wanda ulting and you see a mag bubble on her, are you gonna stay and wait for it to go down to shoot her and maybe try and kill her? No, you're gonna get out. You are going to remove yourself from the situation. All right, Spider-Man. I think his ultimate's very good. It again suffers from one fatal flaw, as you can CC his ass while he's doing it. I've slept many a Spider-Man as Mantis. And he's basically still while he's doing it. You do have to kind of make sure you hit his body. It's a lot easier to stun him when you hit his body than throw it at his feet. Although I have had success throwing it at his feet with Mantis in certain situations, but a lot of times he'll be in the air and it won't work. So try and hit him in the body. But other than that, it's an incredibly strong ultimate. Huge AoE. He comes in out of nowhere usually and does it, so it's very hard to react to in the moment. Like even as Mantis, I'm sleeping him while it's going off on me. I'm not sleeping him before it happens, and that's honestly what you want because you want it to go on that full cooldown. You want him to actually use it, so it goes back to 0 value. And the main point is to just not get hit by all of it, so he doesn't get that huge stun at the end. And it stopping him in that will absolutely save your team because it's a huge ultimate otherwise and will easily wipe out your team and win a game. Is it still garbage? It definitely was garbage. I think maybe it's C now. Squirrel Girl players, because I'm not one of them. I'm sorry. I played a little bit of her. I do like her, but I enjoy other characters. Do you think the ultimate's better now? I'd almost be interested in an argument for it being maybe in B tier. I definitely don't think it's like in league with these, but let me know in the comments if you think it's stronger, better now. The issue before is it just like it went in a straight line, and any intelligent enemy who sees it coming could avoid it. Unfortunately, because you're like, oh, it's gonna bounce off that wall. I should not stand in front of that wall. Star-Lord. He can't be CC'd out of it, as far as I know, right? Um, because yeah, I'm pretty sure I was trying with Hela on him, and it didn't do shit. Her stun did not work on him, if I remember correctly. Um, somebody like lab it out on your own. Take everything I say here with a grain of salt. I am fallible. Every single human being is. Um, but I believe he is CC immune while he's doing it, which is kind of wild. Because I'm trying to remember. I did the Hela test on almost every character, and I want to say Star Lord just tanked right through those orbs and didn't care about them. Um, but I could be misremembering that. So correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Storm. She's almost an ult bot. She was an ult bot season 0. Now she's not. Now she's an incredibly strong character, and she's one of my favorite characters to play. And her ultimate is so good, and that's why I'm sure some of you are saying, yeah, but every support counters it. That's good. Get those support ults out. Make them use their support ultimates on trading your ult for their ult. I think is a good trade in my opinion, because you farm it really quickly, and the support ults just are more impactful right now for winning the game in my opinion. And the other thing is you just have a lot of options with this ultimate to bait stuff out. Like you can either try and bait out ultimates with it like beforehand, and then as soon as you see that ultimate go down, then you pop your ultimate to punish them, or you could use it to just force them to use their ultimates so that the rest of your team can come in and ult. There's a couple of different ways to do it, but there's also a window of invulnerability, so you can literally just get full vision on the enemy team safely because you're basically like in an AoE under them almost. And the duration on that is very long. I don't know the exact time for it, but it's very long. And in some circumstances, like the supports will basically react to the sound cue because they're not thinking about it, and they'll pop their ult immediately, and then you can wait it out. That hasn't happened as often, especially recently, but you can still get away with stuff like that, and you can do that against Mantis and Cloak and Dagger too. The duration on their ults isn't that long. The only one that's longer than it, I think, is Luna's. So like if you bait the support ult out by just pressing the button, just wait it out, and then come in and punish it. I love her ultimate. Her entire kit is really fun. My only issue was that like hit scan characters are just, I think, always going to be an issue in games like this, especially for flying characters. I wanted her to have like maybe an air dash or something, but I think what they did to her was good, and I'm very happy with her kit now. The only thing I would maybe change is maybe let her alternate fire chain instead of the Thor ability, so it's a little more valuable, but it's already really good. So it might be. She's probably gonna get nerfed next season. She's definitely not gonna get a buff. So, Punisher. His ultimate is very good if you don't die immediately in it. It's again has incredibly strong, has a fatal flaw. That is sort of the A tier, in my opinion. Which is why maybe I'm thinking maybe moving Magik up, because I mean you can get a lot of value on it. You can kill supports in their ultimate on her too. It's not easy. You have to be pretty good with it in the timing, but you can do it. Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier again. Do I need to talk about it? Do I? It's stupid. Like he's an ult bot. I know people. His kit is good. Like I'm not saying his kit's not good, but you know why you play this character again and again and again. Wolverine. His ultimate is S tier, and if you don't know why it's S tier, he's CC immune. He can pick one character up for insane damage, usually a tank, and then slam that character into the rest of their team, dealing even more damage to the rest of the team, almost probably killing the supports. It's it's a lot of damage. And kind of disgusting because it typically results in good Wolverines picking up a tank player and slamming them into their backline and killing the entire team. I'd even go as far as like this. It's not the only reason he's top pick, top banned, but it's a pretty strong contender for why he's top pick, top banned. That along with just his general CC, he can kidnap your tank. If you're wondering if you let Wolverine through ban phase and you're wondering why your tank's disappearing on you, it's because you're not killing that fucking Wolverine. Get after him. I think Adam Warlock's ultimate is just all right. Oh God, we have so many supports to go through. I was like, this is going fast. No. Cloak and Dagger, I think like the only thing that stops her is like Iron Man and Magneto, honestly, right? Magik can do it. Winter Soldier cannot do it. Who else could even Who could even I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Who else do you think can kill Cloak and Dagger and her ult? My initial go-to Magneto, Iron Man, Magik. I know those three can do it. Let me know if anybody else in the cast can do it. Jeff the Land Shark. I think his ultimate is incredibly strong. Because it's like an objective ultimate. Because like you could say, well, you could just run away from it. What if you need to be on point? What if you running away from point gives them the game? Then you can't run away from it. Then you have to have a solution for it. I think Jeff's ultimate is incredibly strong, and somewhat slept on. In fact, it might be like I think in terms of like ranked in competition, like winning actual games, his ultimate is the strongest part of his kit because it absolutely can win you the point in certain circumstances. Because again, like you can't run away from it if you have to stand on point. Otherwise, you give up the game if you leave point. Like you have to stay there. So now we need an answer. Now we need something like Groot Wall to deny line of sight on it, or something, or Cloak and Dagger to phase everybody out. I don't think this is troll. I think this is there's no point in making an ultimate tier list if you aren't going to put Loki at the goddamn top of it. And the reason is because he copies everybody else. He can have every ult in the game. How is that not the most busted ultimate? It doesn't matter how many characters they come out with. If their ultimate isn't copying the ability to copy every other ultimate in the game, then it ain't at the top of the list. Savvy? Luna Snow's just under Loki. In fact, Loki's commonly will either copy Luna or Cloak and Dagger. In fact, I see a lot of I'm gonna put her right back here. One thing about Loki that a lot of people don't know is when he copies Cloak and Dagger. So whenever Cloak and Dagger ults, if you I guess kill her, it'll immediately remove her ult from the ground. If Loki copies Cloak and Dagger and he does her ult and you kill him, it doesn't do that for some reason. So for whatever reason, he gets even more value out of her ult because he can go down and it will stay up and keep the team alive. So she's if you see a lot of Loki's copying C and D over Luna, which might be confusing to a lot of people, that is why. Luna Snow, otherwise incredible ult. I mean, it's basically the ult that almost everybody is grieving over at some capacity. It's 12 seconds of immunity for your team, and she can damage buff her team while it's happening too. So if they have the numbers already, she might just damage buff and let you wipe the team. But either way, it's incredibly difficult to remove her while she's ulting and just her entire team. Mantis, I would put right down here. I think it's still incredibly strong. It's just it doesn't have the same duration and it's not quite as much healing, I think, or like you don't get the same amount of like shield, I guess, or overhealing as you would with Luna Snow's ult, but it's still really good. It'll still heal you through most things. The only things that really kill it are one shots like Magneto, Iron Man. There's certain combos you can do with Magik that will also kill her. Poor Rocket. It's not good. It's objectively not good. It is objectively bad. I know he's not bad, and like I know he's got a high pick rate, high win rate, and all of that, but his ultimate is not good, and I think everyone is pretty clear on that. Like compared to the other supports, it's not really a support ultimate. It's pretty much like a DPS ultimate, honestly, or like almost like you might give it to a tank too. Like it's almost like an Ursa, I guess, ultimate. I guess it's exactly an Ursa ultimate. Yeah, it might not be quite as bad as these. I'll leave them in C, because I like Rocket. I don't like shitting on Rocket. Mr. Fantastic. I think it's all right. I haven't seen Fantastics like pop off or frag out in many games. I've seen them do really good like frontline work and just show presence and take space. I haven't seen them dominate. The ult is kind of wonky. Like it can be hard to avoid sometimes, but other times it's like impossible not to avoid. It's just weird in my opinion, and I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, so I'm putting it in B. It seems like a safe bet to me. Sorry, Mr. Fantastic players. Let me know in the comments where you think it should be, because I honestly, like, I don't really have a strong opinion on that one. I could definitely move it. I think she's actually, like, maybe just ahead of Cloak and Dagger. Invisible Woman has a very strong support ultimate, and I think has kind of replaced Mantis in a lot of ways in the meta right now. I see less. Mantis is not out of the meta right now, but I see less of her, and I think in favor of Invisible Woman. And I think her ultimate is a little more valuable than Mantis's in most situations. The advantage of Mantis is the mobility. You can chase. If your team's pushing hard, you can stay with your team and push. Hers, you have to stay and fight, so you have to put it on the ground you want to fight over. So some differences there, but I think overall hers is slightly stronger than Mantis's ultimate. And is that really all of them? All right. Wow. We made it through. That wasn't too bad. So yeah, that is my tier list for Marvel Rivals Ultimates right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Who did I mess this up royally, or is it somewhat accurate? How do you feel about it? I'd be interested to hear that. And other than that, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help me out. And until next time, stay frosty.